everybody, my name is Allie, also known as the Freckled Yogi, and today our practice is focused on the heart space and helping you find a little bit more mobility, especially because we all do spend lots of time typing on our keyboard, texting on the phone, driving in the car, so lots of this motion, lots of this forward rounding in the thoracic spine, which already is naturally curved to go this way, so we're going to do a little bit of work to open up that heart and to begin to create a little bit more space in the front of the body. Let's begin in a tabletop position. So you're going to find your hands directly beneath of your shoulders and your knees right beneath of your hips. And let's start by tracing a circle with the torso. So just moving in one direction. And go ahead and reverse that circle. And back to stillness. Flip those fingertips to the sides or the edges of the mat and give your weight a little bit of a rock side to side. And back to stillness. Let's make sure the toes are tucked. We're going to sit our hips back onto the heels. Please feel free to lift those hips up a little bit. If it's a little intense on the toes or ankles or knees, then we're going to take our hands, flip the fingertips to our hip bones, and we're going to press the backs of the hands into the tops of the thighs. Breathing nice and deep all the way down to the belly. And go ahead and come back to your tabletop position, finding the hands right beneath shoulders, knees beneath hips. Next breath in, begin to drop your belly down to the ground and lift the gaze up to the sky. As you exhale, round through the back body, chin pulls into the chest. Inhale, belly down, gaze lifts up. Exhale, rounding through the spine. Now you can continue to move through these two motions, your cat and your cow. Or if you would like, I'm going to walk us through a spinal undulation, a variation of this cat and cow motion. So, if you'd like to try out that undulation, go ahead and shift your hips back towards your heels. We're going to begin to tuck the tailbone under, round through the back body. Press the space between the shoulders up to the sky, shift the weight forward, pull the chin into the chest, and then begin to tip that tailbone, lifting the tailbone up to the sky. Release the belly, release the chest, press the hips back, lift the gaze up to the sky. And a little bit more fluid now, rounding through the back body, coming forward, releasing the belly down to the ground, pressing the hips back. And keep on going. So whatever you're doing in this moment, you are flowing between your cat and cow, whether or not you're trying to spinal undulate. And let's go ahead and reverse those. So we're going to press those hips back to the heels. We're going to let the belly drop to the earth. Begin to shift the weight forward, thinking of leading with the chest. Think about touching the back of the head to the tailbone. And then from here, I'm going to pull my chin into my chest, begin to round through the back body, tuck the tailbone under as I shift the hips back. And then start with the head, open the chest, shift the weight forward. You'll notice that I'm allowing myself to really bend the elbows as I'm undulating between these two motions. So just a couple more. And back to stillness, keeping those toes tucked. Let's begin to walk the hands out to the top of the mat and then even beyond the top of the mat as you start to melt the chest down to the ground. Letting the hips lift up to the sky, breathing up to the belly. And come on back in. Lifting the chest up, walking the hands back in. Finding those hands right beneath your shoulders. Let's go ahead and shift our weight into the left hand. Reach the right arm up to the sky. And lower the right hand down. Shift the weight into that right palm. Lift the left arm up. The left arm can lower. Press the hips back. Lift up onto the tips of the fingers and walk the hands forward. You're welcome to have the knees touching or the knees separated at the edges of the mat or somewhere in between. Keep pressing those hips back. Another option here is to tuck the toes under, making it even more of an active child's pose. And then go ahead and walk the hands over to the left side, really pressing the right hip back. And walk the hands back to center, press the hips back, and take the hands over to the right. Pressing the hips back, really pressing the left hip back. And come on back in. Roll on up. Find the hands back beneath the shoulders, knees beneath hips, toes are still tucked. We're going to press the hips back, push into the palms, lift the knees up, and reach the hips up to the sky. Give your head a shake, a little side to side. Nod it yes. Shake it no. And then begin to pedal those knees, letting the hips wiggle side to side. Finding the stillness once more, pressing through the tips of your fingers. Breathing up to your belly. Let's inhale, shift the weight forward, finding our way to a high plank. You're welcome to drop your knees to the mat here. Exhale, bending at the elbows, chaturanga. Inhale, opening up the chest, either an upward facing dog or letting the belly rest on the ground for a cobra. Then we're going to release the thighs, soften at the elbows, begin to bring that tummy down to your mat. Sliding the hands forward, sliding the elbows directly beneath your shoulders, and finding your hands in front of those elbows. If you're feeling any sort of like a pinch or a tension in the lower back, you could always just scoot those arms a little further out. So you want to think about opening up the collarbone, that front of the body there. Keep breathing down to your belly. Squeezing the shoulder blades back ever so slightly. And let's go ahead and slide those arms out in front of you. Resting one cheek onto the mat. Bend at the knees. Windshield wiper the feet. And bring nose and forehead back onto the mat. Extend the legs long. Slide the hands along the sides of the body. We're going to begin to press down through the palms, squeeze the shoulder blades back, hug the elbows in, and lift the chest up. Pressing the tops of the feet down into the mat, using the strength of the upper back to find your lift. The way that you can test to see if you are using the strength of the upper body, the spinal flexors, to get your lift, go ahead and try removing the hands. If you are up here and you move your hands and you go all the way back down, that means you were not using your spinal flexors. So find that spot where you can be lifted. Maybe you're lifted down here, you know? That's a great place to be. There's no judgment, but you do need to respect what your body's capable of doing in this moment. So find that spot, lift those palms off, hold for another 3, 2, and 1. Rest the palms down. We're going to slide the left arm out in front of us. It can be straight or kind of slightly to an angle. We're going to shift our weight into this left arm. Extend the right arm out in front of you. Swing that right arm to the back of your space. Go ahead and bend the right leg. If you're able to, go ahead and grab onto the foot. Maybe that foot is a little out of reach, and that's all right. We're still reaching. Opening up the heart, lifting up that chest, bringing that heel in towards the glute. If you are able to grab onto the foot, you could kick the foot up and back, letting that heart space open up. And let's release, extend the right leg long. We're gonna swing that right arm out in front of you. Again, it can be slightly angled. Shift the weight into the right side, reach the left arm back, bend the left leg, and same options as the other side, remain here. You can reach, if you had a strap, you could place a strap around the top of the foot and hold on to it there. Lots of different ways that you can modify this. And whichever way you find yourself in this moment, come back to the breath. Keep breathing all the way down to your belly. And gently release. Sliding that left arm out in front of you. Go ahead and lower all the way down. Feel free to have the arms wherever it feels comfortable for them. Rest one cheek on the earth. And give your hips a little wiggle side to side. And come back to stillness. Bend those knees. Give yourself a couple windshield wipers side to side. And back to stillness. Let's go ahead and extend the arms out to the sides. So you're stretching out nice and long, just like you have airplane wings or angel wings, you might want to think of them as. We're going to really reach through those fingertips. Nose and forehead is down on the mat. Go ahead and tuck the toes. Begin to bend the right leg. Point the right foot. We're going to lift up that right leg and the thigh and begin to twist that right foot over towards the left side. Now the key piece here, and I'm going to turn so that you can see it a little better, is keeping the right shoulder grounded into the mat. So I'm keeping this right shoulder down and I'm taking this right leg over to the left side. Keep breathing down to your belly. Maybe the foot comes towards the hands. Maybe it's very far away. Again, wherever you are is a beautiful place for your body to be. You're showing up for yourself, and that's what counts. So come back to the breath here. And let's release. Extending long. Give those hips a wiggle. All right, second side. This time we're pressing the left shoulder especially down into our mat. We're going to tuck the right toes, point and lift that left foot, and then take the left foot over to the right side. Keep that left shoulder down. Don't let it be sneaky. Breathing to the belly. And come back to your belly. Bring those arms along the side body. Press those palms down into your mat, hands beneath shoulders. And we're going to lift the torso up. And press the hips back towards the heels. Coming into a child's pose. Let's inhale, roll on up. If you're comfortable in a kneeling position, please stay as you are. If it is too much on the knees or ankles, come to a nice easy seat. We're going to just do a couple more little movements here. Sitting up nice and tall, hands to the heart. Interlace those fingers, palms pressing forward. We're going to push those hands out in front of us, chin to the chest, rounding through the back body. Lift those hands up to the sky. Feel free to let the elbows bend. Open up the chest. Reaching the palms up. Squeezing the shoulder blades back. Palms come forward. Chin into the chest, round through the back body. Lift the hands up. Arch back. Rounding through the back body. And lifting the palms up. Couple more. Round. And lift. And last one, round. And lift. Releasing those arms down to your side. Give them a good shake. Couple shoulder rolls back. Couple shoulder rolls forward. If you are still kneeling, if you are seated, stay just as you are, but if you are kneeling, lift those hips up just to give your quads and those knees a little rest. We're going to take our hands, extend them out to the side, then we're going to swing our arms back behind our back. We're going to let one forearm rest on the other, trying to grab opposite elbows or maybe just grabbing opposite wrists. Squeezing the shoulders back. Still breathing down to the belly. Notice which arm is on top. Let's go ahead and switch. And release. Give those hands a little shake. Find your way to your tabletop position. Go ahead and tuck the toes under. Press the hips back. Push down into those palms. Lift the knees up and reach your hips all the way up and back. Inhale, shift the weight forward. Exhale, bending at the elbows. Inhale, lift the chest up. Exhale, hips up and back. Shift the weight into those hands and tiptoe the feet all the way up to the top of the mat. A little bend at the knees. Torso hangs heavy. And as slowly as you can, roll on back up. Letting the crown of the head be the very last thing to lift. Couple more shoulder rolls back. Couple rolls forward. Give the arms a little shake. And that's all for our practice. Namaste, my friends. I thank you for practicing with me. I hope you enjoyed this class, and I can't wait to hear what kind of class you would like to see from me next. Don't forget, you can always text me and let me know what your requests are, and my phone number is 240-647-9285. And that's all for me. I also hope that you enjoyed a very special feature from our sleepy doggy, who's usually in the background of our videos. But he's very sweet, so I thought you all might enjoy a little dog. So, hope you have a good one. Thanks for joining me.